Hey, everybody, welcome back to I Know a Guy. I'm Anthony, and this is the podcast where connections thrive. Each episode, we spotlight inspiring entrepreneurs, professionals, and individuals doing amazing things. Together, we'll grow your circle, spark collaborations, and discover new opportunities. Today, we're meeting Michele Novack, a resilient entrepreneur, author, and cyber engineer who has built a successful career by embracing change and lifelong learning. With over 30 years of experience, Michele is passionate about leading by example, empowering others, and sharing the lessons she's learned to inspire people with professional growth. How are you doing today, Michele?
I am fantastic. Thanks for having me, Anthony. I'm really looking forward to it.
No, I was really looking forward to having you on. I loved our conversation that we had. You're doing cool things. You have a great personality. I think people they're definitely going to see that, and there's people out there that need to get to know you. So, starting off, where are you located? Where are you calling in from?
I'm calling in from New York, as you can tell my accent.
There's a hint or two. Yeah. So okay. So just based on the accent, you've been there for a while, I take it.
I've lived here my whole life, Anthony. Great old New York. I mean, it has a lot to offer, if you would say, right?
Yeah, yeah. Okay, well, let's say you have friends coming into town that have never visited before. Where are you taking them? What are you doing? And where are you going for dinner?
Oh God, that's a loaded question because there's so many things to do here. I'm going to tell you right now, I'd probably take them to Chinatown. Nothing is better than going to Chinatown and visiting. I mean, it's a world beyond a world. It's like a world in itself here in New York City. There's great food, but right on the outskirts, like in the center of Chinatown, is also Little Italy. So you kind of get the best of both worlds, if you would. So that's probably where I would take them. I would take them for some authentic food, let them relax, and then just kind of show them the town, right? There's so much to see and do. Maybe go out for a couple of cocktails and, just be happy.
You had me at a couple of cocktails. No, so no, that's fun. I always like asking people in New York, like, what would you do? Because it's like, well, man, okay, because you guys literally have everything here in Iowa. Depending on where you're at, you got corn. We got flat. So it depends. Which one do you want to look at first? No, so it's. I was actually on the other day with another gentleman from New York, and he was talking about Chinatown too. So there's got to be something to it. That sounds fun. But what is it that you do? What can you tell us about that?
So, Anthony, that's a really great question. I mean, I do a little bit of everything. I mean, my background is in cybersecurity, as you know, right? I have been a business owner for the past couple of years. I transitioned out of finance after 30 years in the industry to really start my own business and journey through and help small businesses, if you would, or entrepreneurs really kind of get grounded on where they're going, right? Um, I offer risk and assessments through my cybersecurity company, but really more so it's about building a community, Anthony, and that's kind of what my mission is right now. My passion lies in all my experiences, navigating the highs and lows of entrepreneurship, creating impactful collaborations, offering free resources, educating. Kind of that's what I'm doing. I'm doing a little bit of everything. I want to grow. I want everybody to kind of feel that same sense of community, if you would, but in the cyber sense, right? There's so much things that I can teach and share, and so many people are not aware of that. And I want to help protect those small businesses. I want to protect their assets. I want to protect their data. But that's what I'm doing, trying to live my best life yet,
Yeah,
if you would.
yeah, that's amazing, and that's absolutely the right mentality to have. I'm a little biased because community building and helping people. That's kind of right in line. But there's more and more of people looking for that every single day. I think we've had our fill of the I'm going to go rent a Lamborghini and pose in front of it and tell you that the only way to be successful is to do
Yeah.
this. When it's more of I'm really good at the things that I'm really good at, and I want to partner with everybody else that can do the same for the adjacent areas, because I don't want to wear those hats, and I'd rather work with people that have the similar values or similar personality or vibe with me, so that we can all help each other, because rising tide lifting all ships and whatnot. So that's amazing. I love that. What got you started? You said you transitioned to this from finance. Kind of, what did that look like? What made you jump ship and say, I'm done with that, I'm doing this now?
That's a really great question. I mean, it really came from having to overcome a lot of personal and professional challenges, right? When you're in corporate for that long, there's a level of challenges that you go through, right? You get tired of the politics. Let's call it what it is. I mean, so many people are afraid to lose their jobs or say the wrong thing or step out of line. I mean, I think, you have to be true to yourself. And I think that's the realization that I got, right? I want to be me. I want to be able to express myself when I want to express myself. I want to be able to share when I want to be able to share. Um, and really just kind of saying, what's the next step? I mean, I did finance for so long. And really the way to go is technology, right? Like I remember sitting back and it was 2018. I said, what does my next career path look like? I know I don't want to work for somebody else. I know I want to start working for myself, but what does it look like and what do I need to do? And I had the opportunity, at that time I was working for a very large bank. They had their own tech university. So I kind of explored it and I went back to school. I became a full stack web developer. From there, I started to teach cybersecurity at the tech university to developers. And then I went into cyber, right, and became a cyber engineer. And I said, I knew that that's what I wanted. I knew that I love protecting people. I love fraud. I love finding the criminals, and I love protecting people against those criminals. And that's kind of just what it set me off, right? And listen, I I'm not a spring chicken, right? I always tell everybody that, and you could start your life over at any time. You just have to have the courage. And it took a lot of courage. I remember my sisters saying to me, "Are you crazy?" What do you mean? Are you crazy? You have a career? I'm like, yeah, no. It wasn't fulfilling, right? You have to fulfill. You get to a point in your life where you have to start thinking about yourself and what fulfills you. And my journey has been one of resilience, growth, and empowerment, right? And that's kind of what I really is just keeps driving me, right?
Mhm.
Just keep driving and to do more, want more, and now give more, give back more. And that's my next phase of what I want to do, right?
Yeah, I absolutely I love stories like that because they're asking, "Are you crazy?" A little bit, but in a good way, right? If you want to be an entrepreneur, you got to have a little bit of crazy in you because what happens is you get the taste for it, and then all of a sudden you're unemployable, right? Like you can't go back to that. So definitely crazy, but in the best way possible now. So awesome! I love to see people making that jump, and like you said, it doesn't matter where you're at. If you're not happy doing what you're doing, you don't have to leave right away, right? Like you said, you were taking advantage of the resources that you had with where you were. Get started like that. Find ways to take classes. Find ways to leverage different programs that are available to you, and then use them to your best advantage. That's how this all works. So that's fantastic. I love that story. What is it that you love most about what you're doing now?
I think I'm driven by the profound desire, Anthony, to empower others, right? Helping them break through the barriers and embrace their full potential is kind of what's driving me right now. Even when I speak with one of my customers, it's about sharing with them not only on a professional level about their business, but also on a personal level. Like you want to get to know people, you want to get to know where they're at in their stage and how you can help them. And everybody's at a certain point in their journey in life, and that's kind of where I'm at, right? What's most important, right? It's creating those meaningful connections right now, sharing that knowledge, and then kind of maybe inspiring that growth. The one thing that I've learned, Anthony, through having conversation and just like you and I, is everybody's at a certain point in their life. And I truly believe that you meet up with people or get connected to people because you're meant to share something together. Whether it's a conversation, maybe it inspires somebody to do something different, maybe you're learning from them a lesson. But for whatever that reason is, it's meant to be. And that's kind of where I'm at, right? Like, I just want to continue that journey, right? Work through the mental drills and become my best self and let others understand that they can become their best selves right through that as well.
Absolutely.
Hope I
Yeah.
answered your question right.
No, you did. There's no wrong answers here. So it's all about being authentic, and you have that in spades. So no, that's amazing. And you're right. Every meeting you make, you're going to get something from it, right? It's either going to be a lesson, it's going to be a collaboration, it's going to be just a connection that leads you to another connection or to another. It all adds up. So wanting to do that, that's huge, and that's really important for more people to realize. But yeah, couldn't have said it better. What about an average client for you? What does that look like? Or what are the pain points that somebody might be going through that if they're dealing with XYZ, you're the person that they should be talking to?
Yeah, it's a great question. The average client for me is someone who really don't have the resources. They don't have the resources. They don't know anything about cybersecurity. They don't have any infrastructure built. They have no idea how to build a security posture, right? Um, and they need help. They in most cases have already been infiltrated or have had some type of cyber attack. I just got off the phone with a client the other day. He was man in the middle, classic attack. He was sending a payment to somebody. That person got their information. Somebody else sent them another email saying use this routing number, and that money went off to somebody else, right? So they're not aware. They're not aware of what's needed. That's my niche, right? Helping those small businesses who are limited on resources, who maybe need just knowledge base, doesn't need the full blown segment of all of cybersecurity, even though they're required, right? And teaching them, sharing them with the resources that are out there. I mean, there are a lot of free resources that they can sign up for that are budget friendly. But that's where I'm at, right? I want to teach.
Mhm.
But those are my clients, and my clients, I have some large, some small. They average. Some have, one employee, some have 15, 20, 900. I think it's a matter of perspective, right? Everybody is in the same space though. The
Yeah,
same that's what I find. They're all in the same space when it comes to cybersecurity. It doesn't matter how many people you have working for you.
yeah, absolutely. And it's becoming more of a problem, and it's going to get more and it's going to get bigger. And having that education, because if you're a really good plumber, how much time do you have to devote to the cybersecurity, like researching it and learning all the new fraud, alerts and the phishing scams and all this stuff out there that's after your business, after your money, after your livelihood. You don't have time to do that because you're really focused on being a good plumber.
Right.
So the more people that understand and can find people like yourself to help them, the better it is for everybody. So that's amazing. What about power partners? What are other professionals or other people out there that you can collaborate well working with or refer back and forth with?
So listen, I'm always looking for partnerships. I mean, I don't only stick within the cybersecurity world, right? I reach out to communities, schools, right? Um, Anybody who is dealing with any type of insurance, tax, accountants, CPAs. I mean, I work gamut of a lot of different industries, construction. But power partners, I think at this point, probably it varies. I would say my niche is in accounting, CPAs, and tax preparers, right?
Mhm.
Attorneys. That's my niche, but that's not what I'm limited to,
Mhm.
right?
Absolutely. Yeah, there's so much potential for power partners and just, building relationships with people. It's kind of, you have your usual suspects, and then you have the people that, there's creative ways of, helping one another. So those are always the fun ones to find too. So,
Right.
um, you've been doing this and, you took that leap and, you're at where you are now. What advice would you give to a new or aspiring entrepreneur?
I'm going to say this, right, Anthony? I think the most important thing as a new entrepreneur is believe in yourself, right? Break through the fear, right? Embrace the transformation so you can get to the other side. It's interesting that you asked that question because I just wrote a book, right? Overcoming the fear of entrepreneurship and solopreneurship, right? Transform as a game changer. Um, the game changer is you, right? You gotta overcome the fear. Don't be afraid to fail. People are so focused on, oh my God, I gotta get this right and it's gonna fail. I failed. I had to keep going back over and over. Is this the right thing? Am I going to do this right? Is it going to come across right? I remember being terrified, meeting my first client, terrified, right? But you know what? I told them, I said, listen, you're my first client. I'm nervous. They were okay. People want to help you. And I think, like your platform, I'm so happy about this platform, right? Like getting out there and sharing this information is the best way to help others. And, as an entrepreneur, just do it. Your ideas are important, right? So many people stagnate. They get these ideas and they never start it. They stop. And they're great ideas, right? So, that's what I would say to somebody who wants to start out. Believe in yourself, believe in what you want, and don't worry about if you fail. You probably will, but who cares?
Not even probably, you're gonna. Right? It's not a hypothetical, it's you're gonna. And that's part of it. Like, we have this weird obsession about, I can't fail or I can't get told no. It's gonna happen, and it's supposed to. If you're doing anything at all, you're not going to be great at first, right? It's going to take repetition. Let me go back to, let's look at like weightlifting. You go into the gym, you're not the strongest person in there day one, right? People are in their training every single day, and they're training to failure. They're training until they can't do it anymore, so that they come back the next day and be stronger. That's universal. It doesn't matter what it is. The more repetitions that you take, the harder that you go, the things that you learn, the things that you can grow from, and just failing, that's part of it. So if you want to become successful, you're going to have to fail to do it. And just hearing that from different people in different industries like yourself, it's a recurring theme. Every entrepreneur tells you the same thing. So how many times does somebody need to hear it from how many different people before it's said in just the right way that it clicks for somebody? That's what a big portion of this is just letting them get that click, because there's so many people out there saying the exact same thing, just slightly differently. Listen to it. Right? There's something to that. So,
Anthony, I'll add to that for 1 second if I could. I think what I've learned is it comes from how you grew up. That's where fear comes from. It's what you learned when you were a kid. It's what you learned from, your parents, the people that you surrounded yourself with. And you got to overcome that. You got to put all those barriers, those self-limiting beliefs behind you, and start anew.
Mm-hmm.
You can start anew. I've had my own. Start anew. So not only fear, but don't be afraid to start anew. Right?
Yep. Absolutely. The bigger the failure, the bigger the learning experience, right? You're going to start off making little as a kid, you try to walk, you're going to take a step, fall on your face, take a step, fall on and as you get bigger, you're running, and now you're falling, and then you're skidding your knee, and then you're going to grow into it. Your failures are going to get bigger and bigger, but they're going to be followed by bigger and bigger successes. So
Absolutely.
Do it. Go fail. But how can embracing change and continue? Let me try that again. How can embracing change and continuous learning lead to career success?
It's gonna give you a love for yourself. I guess that's the best way I can answer that. Right? By embracing that change, you're gonna have success. Right? But you're gonna find you. You're gonna find what's profound in yourself that's going to kind of catapult you to the next level, right? You're going to finally be able to not be afraid to have that vision, and want to live that life that you truly really wanted to live. And that's where it's like incredible, right? That we all have this within us to do. We all have the full potential within ourselves to overcome those barriers and do that. And for me, this whole transformation and getting there, I had to say, am I worth it? Right? Like, I had to double check, oh my God, am I worth this? Am I really a founder of a business? Like, like you don't believe it. I don't know how else to say it, right? Like, you don't believe what you're doing. And then you kind of like, God, yeah, I'm doing that, So it becomes surreal is the word, maybe is the best that I can use. And once it becomes surreal and you accept that and you accept, I guess, the happiness that you find from it, you're kind of moving forward, right? I used to have someone tell me all the time, Michelle, you do all these great things, but you never give yourself credit. And it took me a long time to understand why I never gave myself credit. And they were absolutely right, because maybe I just did it because I wanted to do it. Like, I wasn't looking for the recognition, right? But when you become a business owner and you get out there like what you're doing, Anthony, you have to appreciate what you've done and what you're bringing to the table. I guess maybe that's the best way to answer that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. How can sharing knowledge and paying it forward create lasting impact?
You get to see people's lives transform. Go back to that word, transform. By sharing knowledge, not only are you building the bricks one person at a time, right? You're helping people. Paying it forward is the most important thing you'll ever do in your life. I am that person that, I'll be standing in line and I'll pay for the guy's, coffee behind me. I've done it numerous times, and I just do it because, I don't know. That's just who I am, right? It's people need to be kind. We have forgotten to how to be kind to one another in this world today. And just the simple little things that you do by sharing that knowledge, by helping others along, and it doesn't have to be big. You don't have to do anything. Sometimes it's just a kind word. Have a great day, right? So for me, that's the most important thing that any one of us can do. It's beyond, my role as a business owner or just even a person. It's pay it forward is big. And I wish every single person would embrace that, right? Navigating it and just, embracing it.
Yep. It's one of those things that it sounds cliche or it can sound corny, but tell me I'm wrong, right? Tell me if everybody did a little bit more of it, things wouldn't be a little bit better, right? So it's absolutely no, I love that. But we could go down the rabbit hole on all this stuff because people have been waxing, been talking about it for years and years and years. So
Yeah.
just overall, is there anything that I missed or failed to ask that you wanted to add?
I don't think there's anything that you missed, right? I think the most important thing is I'm going to challenge everybody out there, right? Those that want to go into their own business, ask yourself, why do brilliant ideas die in the silence of someday? Right? I'll share that with everybody because I had to ask myself that over and over, right? Don't let it die, right? Find the secret, live your dream. I think that's the one thing that I'll share with everybody. Just live it. Don't be afraid.
That's fantastic. I think more people need to hear it and hear it more frequently. So, for those that you don't want to have that conversation, want to get to know you, how can they do that? Where can they find you? How can they get a hold of you?
Oh, all those wonderful channels, right? I'm on LinkedIn. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me through you. But that's I'm on the usual channels. You can find me through my direct website as well, right? So I'm around. Look me up. You'll find me. Google me. I have a couple of books out there. You'll find me over there on Kindle somewhere.
Perfect. And I'll put all that into the show notes, so you don't even have to look for it. Just scroll down; it's there. Click on it and go. Absolutely, reach out to Michele. She is just a ball of positivity. You're going to want to have that conversation. You're going to walk away smiling. You're going to learn more than you knew going in, because to our business side, cybersecurity, it's more and more important every day. And if you're leaving yourself open, you're just asking for trouble. It's better to be proactive than reactive in that area for sure. So absolutely reach out, have a conversation with her. If somebody would like to get a hold of me, you can find me at ikag.me. You can find more episodes, subscribe to our newsletter, and connect with our growing community of awesome people like Michele. If anybody would like to be interviewed, you can also apply on the website. But Michele, thanks again for your time. You're doing awesome things. You're putting all the positivity out in the world that one person can. So I really appreciate that and everything that you're doing. So let's all go have an awesome day and grow our circles. All right.